We are Mo and Mom. You're too loud. Sorry. Hello.
Welcome
For joining us
to another ASMR style movie review. It is Mo and Mom.
Mo and Mom.
I said it right this time.
Ma'am.
I messed it up really bad earlier. And we enjoy doing awesome movies.
Yeah, I was saying that we need to start reviewing some of the movies we don't like.
But it's so much more fun to review.
Yes, indeed. It's so
Movies
much
that
more
we
fun
enjoy.
to, once we run out of our top favorites, I guess, maybe we'll think about
A
it.
few years from now, it's going to take a while.
She didn't want to say anything bad about anybody.
I don't like it. Yeah, I don't like doing negative reviews. They're just not as much fun.
I can appreciate that.
But there are some good movies out there that we will review that are hard to watch and have some very negative aspects about it. But typically it's a very good message, or else we wouldn't like it so much.
Indeed.
So we'll concentrate on those first, and then we'll go to the ones that just suck. So thank you for bearing with us. If you haven't seen our introduction video, please do.
Our disclaimer.
That's our super fancy disclaimer. But anyways, we really enjoy getting together and doing this, and we hope that you do as well. Today we're going to be doing a masterpiece. I'd say it's probably again within your top 20.
Indeed,
And
it
it's
is.
going to be
Gladiator.
Gladiator is a great action movie.
Oh, yes.
Yes, I would say so.
And it's a love story, too.
I guess it is a little bit of a
Oh,
love story.
very much so, I think. And it's got pretty much all the, not a tremendous amount of comedy, but it touches your soul. To me, it's the kind of movie that...
I wouldn't describe it as a comedy, but it has some funny moments in it.
That's what I
I
said,
just
not
love,
very
I love
many.
that you say that it's a comedy.
No, I said it's not. It doesn't really have a lot of
Oh,
comedy.
Sorry.
That's okay.
So it starts out with our main character, who is, remember his name?
Maximus. I want to say Gluteus Maximus.
I will accept that, because to me that is quite true.
Russell Crowe in his prime. Purdy.
He does
Eye
a
candy.
great job acting in this movie
He
as
is
well.
fabulous in this
Absolutely
movie.
fabulous. So it starts out with him pretty much on top. He's a general at this point, right? And they're finding Germania.
Yes,
Which
they
is-
are. Rome is once again trying to take over Germania, and I recently learned, yes, they happened to win this particular battle, but they were never able to. Germania was the one place that they could never completely conquer.
That's right. And I was amazed when you told me that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Rome pretty much took over almost everywhere.
Well, it
So-
ruled the world for quite a
quite a long
while,
time, so-
thousands of years.
So here in the heat of the battle, when I think you go in there to the beginning of the movie, right?
Right. You're starting off with the battle with the Gauls, which is what they called them back then.
And we quickly learned that this, is he a general? He's
a general.
Very well favored back in Rome.
Yes.
And in fact, he is one of Caesar's favorites.
Top
Yeah,
generals.
favorite people.
And now Caesar has a son, played by
Commodus. Oh,
Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
Joaquin Phoenix.
That's right.
Another excellent actor in this movie. He was very, very good, but he obviously plays a rather
He's our bad guy.
He
Yes.
has kind of shoddy moral character.
He's got some problems.
And Dad, Caesar, knows that, which is why Dad decides he's going to, as he's getting so old, he is going to turn everything over. He wants Maximus to become the next Caesar,
Not his son.
not his son.
And he makes the mistake of telling his son Commodus this, who
Yeah, brings
reacts quite
Very
badly.
badly.
Not as a son should, I would say.
You think?
And it plays out very bad for Maximus as well, because now Commodus becomes emperor.
The son
ruler.
does become the emperor, and Maximus did not give him his loyalty.
That's true. He
And
does give him a
Maximus
chance.
knows
to.
what happened to Caesar.
That's right.
So when
He's a
he
threat.
refuses to become loyal to Commodus, Commodus says, okay, we're going to kill you and your family. We're going to wipe all of it off.
That was hard to watch. That
So
was
they
a bad
take him
scene.
out to execute him out in the middle of the woods, because nobody can know what happened to the favorite general. It has to be done very hush-hush. And fortunately, he is awesome, and he is
He
able
gets
to...
out.
He gets out, and his first thought, he knows they're going after his family. And he races there, only to find that the worst has already happened. And then we have
beautifully
he does
done.
a great job.
It's beautifully done.
It's
It's sad.
heartbreaking.
but very
So
beautifully
lots
done.
of saliva. That was in the time of, remember the 300 Sparta. They spit everything, and this came
It's
out.
That's right.
It seemed
The
to be
same
the
time.
thing, was lots of
It's very
saliva.
emotional, and it gets your emotions. It's good to see a guy be able to pour his emotions out on film and it not be looked down upon.
Oh, I think every woman
That's
fell in love with him a
beautiful.
little bit during that scene.
Good acting,
Yes.
very beautifully done, and the choreography. Anyways, I really love the beautiful scenes that they use, the dramatic music. And I'll
Oh, it's
keep
just.
talking about it forever.
Oh, I
But
know.
something happens where he gets injured, right? Where he just kind of falls
Well,
down.
when he managed to break free from his executioners that took him out in the woods, in doing so, he ended up with a severe
That's right.
wound,
That's
which
right.
gets infected, and he's just heartbroken over his family. He gets buried, and
Oh, he rides his horse almost to death to get out there.
he took two horses.
Shows up really gross looking.
Yeah,
So
so he rode for day and a night and a day and I mean until he killed one of the horses.
that's
But,
right. I think so. All I remember is him waking up and he is like,
oh, you may not have. Oh, maybe. I don't
isn't
know.
he levitating over the ground? And then you realize
That's at the very end.
no. He wakes up and he realizes he's being carried.
Oh,
by the
I see what you're
caravan,
saying.
right?
Yes. I love the feet when he's laying passed out on the graves.
Gross feet.
These
You
gross
would.
feet.
You
were
love
so-
the realism.
That's exactly what it would be like back then.
There's-
But that stood out in my head.
So
for some
he's
reason.
been rescued by a traveling
Slave trader.
And his big gross wound is being covered in maggots, which eat the dead flesh and are
Right.
helping
His
out.
friend.
That's right.
I don't
Absolutely.
remember his friend's name.
That started with a D. Good looking guy.
Oh yeah.
It-
Great, awesome guy.
they had some good.
Nice, nice eye candy, ladies.
I was going to say they picked out some very muscular guys for the gladiators,
Mm-hmm.
which back in that time would have been very accurate.
Indeed. Well, we've
I'll-
seen all the statues.
Oh gosh, yes. Well, statues, I would assume they add muscles to and things like that.
No,
to
they
make
were
the
very
selves.
realistic back then. As realistic as they could be.
Well, that's even more impressive.
Mm-hmm.
People missing their arms and everything. Sorry, I'm so sorry. So
Never mind.
we did actually. This would be an interesting time to tell everybody that after I graduated from university, we went to Rome for a little over a week and had such a good time poring over the history. We got to see
we
the
got to
Colosseum.
go to the Colosseum.
We got
and
to
sit there and just, I just wanted to shut out the rest of the world and oh, if only buildings could talk, if only had that ability to
do.
put. I almost may not have wanted to at the Colosseum, but oh, it was just so rich. It was not as huge as I anticipated.
No, you'd think it'd be bigger because they said they had battleships. I don't know if this
That
is
they-
true. That
and
they
I'm
used
heard
to
it was
fill it
true.
full of water and
And
put
have mock
battleships and
battles, have
stuff.
ships out there.
It was enough layers to be able to have multiple layers. So you had an animal layer, a slave layer, and then they could let them out of gates like they did in this movie
and
as
trap
well.
doors, and
So
it was just
anyways,
amazingly built.
We probably should do a little bit
But I
more
remember
Google
seeing things,
searching on that.
but Ben-Hur, I grew up with Ben-Hur, and the chariot races, and how in my knowledge of that, I would think these chariots were balanced on one wheel going around.
They
the
were
whole
this
time.
big.
Just
Little people and very skinny, and they
it just
turned
wasn't
sideways.
big enough for all the incredible races that I've grown up seeing depicted by Hollywood. So, but it was big enough, and it was gorgeous.
Well, obviously, we're going towards the fact that this guy ends up becoming a gladiator.
Thank you.
And ends up
Keep
going
me on
to the
track.
Colosseum. And pretty much what they tell him is if you get big enough, you can pay for your freedom and you can get out of here. And he is kind of not really wanting to do it at all at first.
Oh no, he
Of
bites
course,
it.
that's right.
They beat him. He just know he's not going to fight back. He's
And then
done.
we find our love interest, which is Commodus, the emperor's sister. We find out that her and the gladiator
Had
now
a thing
have a
once upon a
thing.
time.
They were
Years ago. Now they're both remarried to different
they're-
people, have
yeah.
families, or his is gone now, but
They're both gone. Hers is gone. Her husband's gone.
That's right,
And
her
his
husband's
wife
dead.
is gone.
but she still has her son.
And he does not, unfortunately. So he sees her at some point, and I think that kind of gives him a spark of something to try to live for.
Well, what happens is because Commodus is actually toying with the idea of disbanding the Senate, they realize that he's a big problem, and Gladiator
Russell Crowe?
Russell
Oh,
Crowe,
Maximus.
yes. Maximus, that's what I was trying to say.
Sorry.
Maximus is the people's hero currently and a star, and they want him to use his knowledge and ability to help them battle, take out commoners.
I'm so glad you said that, because that is why I wanted to bring up why the guys were so good looking and muscular too, because I was really confused when I think there were prostitutes would throw themselves at them, and I'm going, are they hoping to get money? You know, like, and you brought to the fact that
They're like rock stars.
that royalty would actually pay to go sleep with them because they are the cream of the crop, the best of the best, and I thought that was interesting. So of course
Good genes.
they have good, actors playing their co-parts.
You mean pretty men.
I was trying to be a little bit more professional, but that's exactly what this movie was filled with. And good fighting. It was just very well done.
I did find the fighting a bit choppy, but
I like long scenes too. But yes, you do get the Hollywood, you get 2 seconds of this scene and then a couple seconds of that, and then something explodes and the horses go
but
that
they
way.
accomplished a lot. Yeah, they did. They were good shots. The
Oh,
ones
they were
could-
fun.
They
had
were
some
great.
lions in there, or
I
tigers.
love some of Joaquin's expressions when he
Oh,
was
gosh.
sitting up there, the tongue thing, and the ooh. I wonder what they said to him to get him to.
You're watching them
react like
fight,
that.
and he had a great time doing that.
He was awesome.
But so our character is thrown in with the gladiators, and he's given some reason to try to get out of there because he starts really kicking butt.
Well, he has to survive,
And he gets
and
everybody
that's
together
when-
to fight as a
now
team.
that's when the slave owner that owned him.
That's right.
Said
That's right.
He explained to him how he still had the sword because the emperor himself, he reached such.
He was a slave.
He was a gladiator
He was
as
a
well.
glaive, yeah.
The slave owner was also a gladiator, the old man. But he got his freedom by rising to the top of the gladiators, and
wanted the
that's when
same
the
thing.
emperor came down and gave him his freedom and this sword.
And he wanted the same thing.
And that's when
he wants to kill Commodus.
he wants to get closer
That's
up to
right.
Commodus.
That's right. That's what he wants.
That's the whole premise of
And-
his drive.
And he does. He gets close enough. Commodus wants him dead, but the people love him so much that
Yes.
he cannot have him killed because he knows that would be the end of his rule. You have to have the people behind you,
Behind you.
especially when he was trying to break down the Senate. I'm so glad you brought that up. But that's actually the premise of our movie is he's, not super happy ending, but he does end up accomplishing what he hopes to do, which is revenge.
And we're also, he's such a great Phoenix. Joaquin Phoenix is such a wonderful bad guy,
He does a good. It made me really like him as an actor.
Oh,
when
me
I
too.
saw him in
Me
this as
too.
well.
But I
He's
always
done good
remember
things
it's
since
the
then.
person that makes you hate him the most. That's good acting.
You had to tell me that when I was a
I
kid
know.
a lot because I'd hate the bad guys, and you'd be like, "No, that just means that she's a great actress."
Actor or actress.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So there is our breakdown of Gladiator. We very much enjoy it year after year after year. How many years have you, since it's come out? Probably.
Of course, everybody's already seen it by now. But if you haven't, oh my goodness,
We definitely
that's
suggest
on your
it.
must-see list for sure.
We do appreciate your time, and we
Thank
hope
you for
that you
joining
will,
us.
come back and see us again. And we look forward to seeing you guys next time. All right, thank you. Bye. Thank you again. Okay.
Oh,
gosh,
dear.
how was that?
I don't know. I think I messed it up.
No, I don't care. We enjoyed it.
Yeah, I
right?
had too much fun.
That's it. I hope people like it.
They won't.
We'll find out.
I love you.
I love you.